Welcome to the second update video for the monthly dividends portfolio. If you are new here, I'm Chris. This is kind of my side project. I'm taking $50 a week and investing it in this portfolio into monthly dividend paying companies only. There's some funds in here as well, but as long as they're paying monthly, we will consider investing in them. Now this week we added 3 funds or stocks to the portfolio. So the first one is SBR, which if you follow me on Instagram, you know we talked about that, but it's a sketchier company, but it is energy sector and they do pay monthly. So we decided to add them in. It's only 2% of the target, so really not a huge part of the portfolio, but as long as they're paying, we'll keep them in there. If they decide to do a little bit better, improve the safety score and whatever else, we may bring that up, but we'll see how it goes for now. The next one I picked up is BNDX, which is Vanguard's total international bond. Basically, my idea here was to invest the bonds a little bit further outside of the US. The dividend yield is 3.3%, which is pretty good for a bond fund. And the expense ratio is 0.08, which is pretty standard for Vanguard funds. They typically have lower expense ratios. The last addition is SLG, which is another REIT. So to get them in here, I reduced my target in realty income by 3% and put SLG in at 3%. Basically what SLG does is they own office space in Manhattan. They are an S&P 500 company. They don't have a safety score. I'm not sure if this is an index necessarily or what's going on there, but they are an S&P 500 company, so I feel a little bit more comfortable investing in them. Obviously, office space isn't going to be probably a winner in the long term with everything going on, especially related to the virus, people starting to work at home more. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out, but there's always going to be some office space, so we'll just keep it at 3% for now. Now that pretty much wraps up all those acquisitions or additions. These are the actual buys we had this week. So if you can pause the video if you want to look at that. I will also be adding a link to the portfolio in the description if you want to kind of skim through it yourself. That will be there. Moving on to my dividend tracker, Simply Safe Dividends. Our annual income is up $2 to $8 over last week. Our dividend yield has fallen a little bit, but we expected that, and the dividend growth is up to 1% now. So this is really good, doing much better than the Robinhood portfolio, which we're still working on, but basically what I want this to be is probably 2%. I think scrolling through all the companies here and their dividend growth, that's a respectable target with the current holdings we have. So if I can get that to 2%, that'll be good. For those that don't know, basically dividend growth means if, say, VGIT pays me $1 this year, 1% growth on that, next year they'll pay me $1 and some change. So that's what you want to get that compounding effect. You want your dividend growth to be a positive number. That way the dividends are paying you more and more. You're adding to the portfolio, and hopefully there's capital gains as well. So it's an important part of dividend investing. Now the last thing is diversification. We're doing much better with the energy sector, and I think communications was added to a little bit as well. Something we do need to consider though is that Simply Safe is not factoring in 30% of my holdings because they are funds. They don't do safety scores on that, and they do not add onto the diversification pie. So I'm thinking about making my own diversification pie in Excel. We'll see if I can figure that out, but it would be helpful to me to have the visual aid of knowing that 15% of my portfolio is bonds, so I'm not as heavy into real estate and financials as it looks. So yeah, we will be looking to do that. But that pretty much covers the update video for M1 Finance. Like I said, the link to the pie will be in the description there if you want to take a little bit more time and go through the individual holdings and whatnot. As far as next week, we will be buying into these 2 companies here, and then I might add some more if I find any. If there's any you guys want me to take a look at, just let me know and I will consider adding them. One last thing I want to mention is if you aren't in the Discord server, that link will be in the description. I would consider joining. We're going to be doing another giveaway. Somebody already won a $25 gift card, so consider joining that if you want to see other content that I'm posting about in here in regards to portfolios. If you want to talk stocks, this is a better place to do it, so on and so forth. But if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you thought this was kind of interesting, and consider subscribing if you want to see how this pans out over time. But that is all I have time for. I will see you tomorrow.